Hi, it's in the dead of the morning, and I'm still in my day dress, and I have been really trying to formalize and write something and make something, frame the screen so I look good, and I just can't. The other thing I can't do is I can't quite catch you up on something that we've been at work on in the spirals of being. So if you just don't mind 3 to 5 to 10 to 20-minute TantraSpeak, I really feel it's really important to talk about something that is obscure and maybe unbelievable, but I want to talk about it this morning. I want to address it and talk about it. There's something happening. It started recently. It actually started November 2014. Human beings live in a very thin band of vibration. It overstimulates the beta wave. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm late for very important data. Can I say hello, goodbye? I'm late. It overstimulates. The beta wave is predominant. It's a low vibrational wave. It's like fleas not being able to jump out of a jar. Imagine that in November 2014 something happened. It's a little bit like the jar that the fleas are in, where they can't jump out, that a structure from above comes in, a larger structure, one that has more diversity, one that has more multidimensionality, and it ruptures the jar, and suddenly the fleas are running around on these threads that are like matrices or spider webs that go beyond the jar that has been broken and are suddenly moving out into a more expanded mind potentiality that they find themselves reacting to. In the work we do in the spirals of being, I call it vertical alignment. It's something happened to time. And what happens to time is when we're in that low beta wave, we're madly rushing towards an unknown future. We're trying to find a future. And the shift of consciousness that humanity went through in 2014, not that they knew it, because it happened to us in our consciousness, not in our cultural norm. We started to move into something called Be Here Now, so above, so below. The ancient books that we know about, the Old Testament, which is both Judaism, Muslim-oriented and Christian-oriented. The Old Testament talks about the relationship of so above, so below. But we have been lost to that for a very long time. So I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about something technical, even though your relationship with a greater power of aliveness could fall underneath that. So I recently wrote a piece of work. We call them the creation exercises. This one is template 6 that happens in the architecture of creation. And this is why I'm a little in TantraSpeak, because I need to talk about stamina, capacity, resilience, and strength. So what happens if you are caught in this shift of consciousness? You don't know what to do. You don't know what your future is. You don't know what your life's about. And you've been taught to think there's something wrong. And so since 2011, I've been consciously working with the creation templates and with the spirals of being and in the activations and the immersions and in the everything to reduce the reactionary level in the human body. And as you can see, the cost, we're in it right now, so that reaction transmutes into response, and a very specific response that we work in the solar plexus activations, a very specific response so we can sentiently hear. We can hear with our body. We can hear with our vibrational fields. We can hear with our consciousness, not words, but the sense of how to move with a wave, the sense of how to move with a disruption, the sense of being true to what connects us to life and has us exist as whole. So I'm not normally disturbed emotionally, and yet since the last few weeks or maybe a couple of months, I have woken up in emotional pain every morning, and there's nothing in my life that suggests I should have emotional pain. When I feel something not line up, because I live in that vertical time. I live in being instructed from above to below, that there are things that anchor in time that let us, in those anchoring, we stabilize these relational fields, these relationships we have with the greater aspects of our own consciousness and the greater aspect of other consciousnesses. I'm not talking about beings, although that could be included. I'm more talking about higher consciousness and what happens when you're no longer stuck in that beta wave and you're no longer stuck in that patterning of hopelessness and reaction and despair. So we're literally breaking out of gravity right now. We're literally like the magnet, like a ball, like a being that's full of iron that's been held to the gravitational pull, and now it's the gravitational pull is not so strong as the magnetic pull of the vertical alignment of the greater system of consciousness that we're part of. This is actually an energetic alteration in the greater cosmos, in the phenomenon of creation of which we're a part. And it's a phenomenon. It's not I don't know what you're going to do. You've got to find a way to quit paying attention to circumstances. You've got to find a way to be strong, have stamina, resiliency, and capacity, and so that you can move with an actual evolution of the biological matter, of the emotional field, of the mental limitation of concepts. We're actually in an awakening, my friends. We are definitively in an awakening. And in that awakening, we are becoming whole. And I'm stopping the recording with my glasses on because I'm recording this in I think it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Pardon my hair, pardon my looks, but I love human beings. I love being human. I love what we are. I love what we're becoming, and I don't want us dying of it. And it's not about people. It's not about people. Something is happening in the field. Think of the Jedi Knights. There is a disturbance in the field. There's a disturbance in the field, and it's rearranging the very molecular life that we exist in, the very vibrational consciousness that we exist in. And we need to find ways to ride the wave and to awaken, because awakening is no longer a spiritual choice. It's a biological necessity. Namaste.